Hello there, channel members, friends, and followers from around the world. This is Q8 Pilot, your host for tonight's show. It is 2100 hours local time, 1800 Zulu time for our live stream, and today, by popular vote, we are going to be flying the FlyJSim Q400 aboard this Widerøe Airlines flight service from Trondheim, I hope I said that correctly, to Sandefjord in Norway. This is a real-world flight route, and it should be interesting to fly. This is the very first time I fly this route, so it should be interesting. Today, also, we're going to be taking a look at all the airport charts, and just to kind of add something new for you guys, and we're going to be taking a look at all the departure, arrival charts as well. We're going to look at any additional airport information in preparation for our departure. I want to welcome all of you guys to this live stream. We have with us today Mr. Jansen. Hello, my friend. Welcome. Stephen, Angie, Rand, Cooley, Stan. Hello, guys. Welcome aboard. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. Arcs on. Welcome aboard, my friend. Fly Sky. And we have also Stefanos. Hello, Stefanos. How are you doing, my friend? Thank you very much for your continued support. As a reminder, folks, the Q8 Pilot channel is the platinum sponsor of FS Expo 2023, and there will be also a booth H7 at the expo dedicated for the channel. If you are going to be in the area, please do come by and say hello. So, both airports we're flying to and from today are default X-Plane 12, and they look fantastic, both of the airports. So, let's hop into the cockpit. What is this view? All right, so we are in the beautiful Dash 8 Q400, and of course this is FlyJSim's rendition of the aircraft, and as it is always the case, we're going to come here and set the load and balance. So we're going to bring up the habitat. No, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Charts. We're going to go back up one directory, and then we're going to go to the output folder, operation flight plan, and our flight is this one here. So let me just make this a little bigger so you guys can see. And as you can see, we are going to be departing today Echo November Victor Alpha to Echo November Tango Oscar. And this is Trondheim to Sandefjord. Of course, we are today Widerøe flight 485, and our flight is actually a pretty short flight. But I'll take you through quickly. We are going to be departing runway 09er today through the U-Tuna 1 Alpha, and we're going to be arriving at runway 36 through the Bamek 7 Tango arrival. We'll take a look at the charts, but first let's start setting up the aircraft. We're going to go to the load and balance, and we are going to click here, select load, and start inputting our information. 71 passengers today aboard this flight, almost full load. Captain Stan, hello, Sky Flyer, welcome aboard. Glad to have you guys here with me during this live stream, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, let's go to the zero fuel weight, 25247, 25247, and enter. And then we have the fuel at 2451. So we are going to say 25 to approximate, and we're going to add about 100 for contingency. So 2,600 kilos of fuel. 2,600 kilos of fuel. And the approximate time today is 1 hour and 6 minutes. Excellent. Load summary. We are good here in terms of our weights, so we're going to say confirm the load and start loading. The nice thing about the Q400 by FlyJSim is once you start, once you say start loading, it actually deploys the fuel truck here, as you can see, and then you'll see all the ground elements connecting. You can see it here again, and then it connects basically to the aircraft to start fueling the aircraft and boarding the passengers. Some really nice animations and some really nice touches there. There you can see here the pump is connecting to the ground, and now you'll see the pump connecting to the aircraft to start refueling. Brilliant. All right, so let's head back to the cockpit, and we are going to start with the batteries here. So battery master on, battery main, auxiliary, and standby battery. And as it is always the case with the Dash 8, you want to start either the APU or ground power so that you don't discharge the battery. So we're going to open up here. We're going to bring up only the primary display and the electrical display just to save on battery power. And we'll just wait for those two displays to come on and verify the status of our battery. Mike, hello Mike, welcome. Glad to have you here. Right, displays are coming. I love how it just performs these tests. By the way, this is true to life. This is exactly how the Dash 8 starts. So very good work there by FlyJSim. All right, so we've got the outside temperature at 3 Celsius. We can see our batteries discharging here with 0 APU gen load. So we're going to come here and start the power. And once you start the power, you can test the APU fire test. You can see the valve is closed, bottle is armed, and you see the fault, and you see the full of the power as well. All right, so all checks okay. We can go ahead and start the APU. Start. And we just wait for the APU to come on. In the meantime, we can perform the engine fire test. Engine 2, engine 1, all checks okay. The baggage after compartment fire test is checked, and the forward baggage is tested as well. By the way, the reason why there is two, you have test 1 and test 2 for the aft baggage compartment is because it's the aircraft, the aft baggage compartment is a large compartment where the main load goes there, and there are 2 smoke detectors in the back or in the forward baggage compartment. Normally, the cabin crew would not store a lot of luggage there because of the nature of the Dash 8. The Dash 8 is very nose heavy, so in order to keep the center of gravity, it is always recommended to put as much passengers and cargo in the back, like in the back half of the aircraft. And if required, then they start putting passengers in the front half and load the forward baggage compartment. So that is checked. Generator is good. Bleed air is on. And we can leave the recirc fans for the time being. And well, actually, let's go ahead and turn on the bleed air. Bleed air, but we'll just bring some, the temperature is pretty cold, so let's warm up the cabin a little bit, and then we can come down here and test caution. All the lights illuminate, checks okay, non-smoking and fasten seatbelt signs are on, emergency lights are armed, the position light is on, and we are good here. We're going to go ahead and turn on the pitot static and the pilot side window heat, as well as the windshield heat as well. We'll leave that on normal. All right, perfect. Cancel the master caution, and now we can bring up the rest of our displays since the APU is on. So the PFD is on for the captain's side and the MFD, and we'll bring the PFD on the first officer's side. Excellent. The self-test is now running. We can turn on our FMC or UNS units on. Excellent. And we'll add just a little bit of brightness there. All right, so it's doing what it's supposed to do. We'll come here and switch on our radios. Test in progress, and everything is set up. Excellent. Pilot Peely, welcome aboard, my friend. Glad to have you here. It's been a while. How have you been? Prince Nightgem, how are you doing, my friend? I'm doing very, very well. Thank you for asking. Rents, hello Rents, welcome aboard. I'm curious to see the Q400 in action because maybe I want to buy it too. Well, I'll tell you what. It is an excellent add-on for X-Plane 12. All right, so we have the UNS devices all ready here. Excellent. All right, so before we begin, I'm going to just say accept, and we're going to say accept here as well. All right, so before we actually start programming the flight plan, let's bring up Navigraph, and let's take a look here. All right, so first let's bring this up. All right, so that's us right there. And our flight plan, as you can see here, we're going to be departing runway 09er through the U-Tuna-1 Alpha. We're going to fly direct to Vexim, direct to Amoxa, direct to Pivat, and direct to Zugdi, and then Bamix, and then it's the arrival into Sandefjord. And we're going to be performing an ILS at runway 36. If we go to the departure here, so first if we go to the airport briefing, they have some rules at this airport. If you look here, the following noise abatement procedures are mandatory for all aircraft between 2300 and 0700 LT and H24 for aircraft with MTOM more than 7,000 kilograms unless deviations are required in the interest of safety. All right? So that implied deviation from noise abatement procedure will include the phrase disregard nose abatement. Okay, so that does not apply for us. Preferential runway system. Okay, this is not going to apply either. Between 2300 and 0700 LT, runway 09 will be used for landings and runway 27 for takeoffs when traffic permits. Of course, we are going to take today runway 09er for departure. As far as the, if we look here, we are currently situated here. So we're going to take taxiway Yankee, and then from Yankee to Alpha 1 for runway 09er for departure. And if we look at our star, beg your pardon, our SID, the SID is this one here, the U-Tuna-1 Alpha. So let's bring that up and take a look here. All right, so that's our departure there, and it says for runway 09er, if no further climb received prior to reaching 6,000, climb to cruise level stated in the flight plan. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing today, as we don't have a live ATC to give us instructions, so we're going to climb to our cruise level, which we'll take a look at in our flight plan. All right, so that is it. That's our SID out of Trondheim. I'm pretty sure that I'm not pronouncing it correctly, but there you go. All right, so that's for our departure briefing. And now we can bring up our flight plan and start keying in the flight plan into the UNS device. Let's come here. All right, perfect. And I'm going to also pop this up so you guys can follow along. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to go to the flight plan. And this is the departure airport. We're going to select the departure and go to menu. From menu, we're going to select depart. We're departing runway 09er, which is number 1. And the SID is the U-Tuna-1 Alpha, which is number 8. And there is no transition, so we'll go back to the flight plan. And from U-Tuna transition, we're going to go to Vexim. So we're going to fly direct to Vexim. Vexim. All right, Vexim. Excellent. And from Vexim, we are going to fly direct to Amoxa. Very strange names. Amoxa. And then from Amoxa, we Pivat is the direct again. We're going to fly direct. No airways today, Pivat. And then direct to Zugdi. All right, Zugdi is there. And finally, direct to Bamix. Right, BAMX, enter, excellent. And then it's the arrival into Sandy Fjord, which is Echo November Tango Oscar. Brilliant. And we're going to select now the arrival airport and go to the menu, select arrive. We're arriving runway 36, so number 2. And the star is the BAMI 7 Tango, which is the first one here, number 1. No transition. And the approach is the ILS runway 36, so that would be number 2. And it would be the, all right, so let's see where is the transition. I think there is a transition. Let me go to the previous page. All right, see the Lolo transition. So the first one, number 1. Right, 1. And then enter and flight plan. All right, we're going to check our flight plan for any discontinuities, which there aren't any. So we are good to go here in terms of the flight plan. We're going to go to the fuel and enter the 0 fuel. So we're going to come here. Let me remove this here so you guys again can follow along. All right, so the 0 fuel, I'm going to just say fast load so we have the final number here. And the 0 fuel is 24294. So we're going to click here. By the way, you can also elect to enter the passenger and cargo, and that will give you the final 0 fuel automatically, or the gross weight. But we're just going to go ahead and put the 0 fuel in the interest of time. 24294, 24294, and enter. And the fuel on board is, total fuel is 2600, 2600. And enter. All right, so we are done with our flight plan. And while we are here, we need to perform a few tests before we start the aircraft. As you can see, we have the everything, the flight plan here. So first, we're going to test the auto feather system. Right, as you can see here, the auto feather test is taking place now. And then we're going to come here. Let me see if I can position this in a way you guys can see. Let's see. All right, let me bring this here. All right. So first we have the takeoff warning test. It sounds a warning test in case there's a problem. And then we have a couple of tests here. IS mismatch here, and the other test. There we go. And then the stall warning test 1.
Terrain.
All right, and test 2. Excellent. And then the GPWS test.
Pull up. Pull up.
All right. Now we have performed all the tests, and the only thing remaining is setting up our autopilot. So we're going to go back to the beginning of our flight plan. The final cruise altitude is 25,000 feet. Is there a way to turn off need to push back to travel through gates? Not sure I follow.
We are ready to copy in this case.
Gregster from the UK, welcome aboard to the QA Pilot channel. Appreciate your subscription, my friend. All right, so we're going to go ahead and set the altitude to 25,000. So 25,000 here is, let me just do this. It's faster that way. Right, 25,000 is set. Excellent. And we're going to also check the weather in just a second here. Let's see here. We're going to set the nav source to FMS on both sides. All right, FMS is set on both the first officer and captain sides. We're going to make sure Alt Select is selected. And now we can go to Navigraph again, and we're going to go to the information. We're going to select the weather here at our departure airport, and note the QNH is 1021. Right, 1021 is set here. 1021. Excellent. Is set. And we are now pretty much ready to go. Let me set it here as well. 1021. And it's already set on the first officer's side. You can, by the way, set this to sync. You can have the baro synced from the options menu in the electronic flight bag. All right, perfect. We have all our passengers flight ready. All the aircraft systems have been tested and everything checks okay. So we are now ready to turn on the beacon to the red. Now, the Dash 8 does not have strobe lights, so it has either red or white anti-collision. So the white anti-collision light is equal to the strobe lights. Okay, we are ready now. Let's call the pushback truck. And let me remove this here. All right, let's see. Better pushback. Start push.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go.
All right. We want you to take us right here.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
All right, excellent. So now we have the tow truck coming. And we're going to switch to outside view. Just really a beautiful aircraft. And I really like this livery. Again, shout out to Captain Guillaume Fuentes for recommending the airline and the route for our flight today. So in the FJSQ, you need to push a button to travel through each of the gates on the throttle. Oh, okay, got you. Yeah, you need to do that, but you can always set up a... I have a joystick control. I have a button on my joystick set up to do that
all
for me.
doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
All right. Ready to connect. And you'll see that the pushback for the Dash 8 is slightly different. So the guy actually comes out. Once he's ready to put the...
Winding strap and adapter in position. Release parking brake when ready to start pushback.
All right. So now when we release the parking brakes, it actually brings the aircraft forward to connect it, and then the pushback starts. So yeah, now he's good. He should be happy. All right, here we go.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
All right, and we have clearance to start our engines, so we're going to head over here to the overhead panel. We're going to start with engine number 2 and start select. And we're going to go to... I have mapped both of these together, so we're going to go to start and feather. All right, start and feather. There we go, start and feather, and we are now starting the left engine, or the right engine, beg your pardon. Just look at this beautiful aircraft. Just lovely. All right, perfect. And next we're going to go and start the engine number 1.
Delta 137, hello.
Select.
9 or 7, hold position and contact ground control 121805.
2185, goodbye.
All right, we have the second engine now starting as well. And once both engines are stable, what the plugin you have on the side when you go to feather? I'm not sure what you're referring to. All right, so we have a good start on both engines, as you can see here. So we can go ahead now and put the props on full forward, or basically 1020, which is the max. Guys, listen to those beautiful prop sounds. Oh yeah.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
All right.
Disconnecting power. Stand by.
All right. Tow is being disconnected now. Let's cancel the master caution. All right. So first thing first, let's go to the overhead panel. And we are going to turn on the, we're going to put the air conditioning on normal. Let's disconnect here. All right, we'll leave the bleeds off for takeoff. Bleed air on, the generator off, bleed air off, and the power for the APU is off. And the anti-skid is on. Alt select is already selected. We need the yaw damper to go on. And then we're going to come down here,
Tow is
turn on the
disconnected and
auxiliary
bypass pin
pump.
has been removed.
1 and 2.
Hand signal on the left. We'll
Auto
see you
feather
next time and
is
have a
on.
safe flight.
Thank you very much for your service, and we're going to come here and turn on the nose steering. We're going to click here for our V-speeds, and we have the V-speed, and so the rotation is at 126, V2 is 130. All right, perfect. So everything is ready to go, and we are going to turn on the hydraulic control system here. So we're going to turn on the standby hydraulic, PTU control, and also we need to test the hydraulic free isolation valve. So we're just going to click here and make sure that it does rise and gives us a reading here, so that's good. Then we can close that and cancel the master caution, and now we are ready to go. Hello there, is it Josepia? Josepia, welcome, my friend. Glad to have you here. Cameron Walker, hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. Is this an X-Band 12 update now? Any word on the 727? Unfortunately, no word on the 727 yet. So, all right, so we're good to go. And let's release the parking brake. And let's head over to the runway. Right, here we go. And by the way, it's always a good idea to make sure there are no lights here, and that will indicate that all your setup and the aircraft systems are operational per design intent. Looks like there is an aircraft there down the taxiway heading over to runway 09 for departure. Very, very nice and very immersive aircraft. Study level simulation of the Dash 8 Q400 by FlyJSim. Highly recommended aircraft. And it will definitely bring a lot of enjoyment to your flying experience in X-Plane 12. By the way, we forgot one thing, taxi lights. There we go. Look at this, guys. This is default X-Plane 12. It's pretty decent, isn't it? Gotta love the beacon light there. Right, looking good. All right, we're going to set our flaps 5 for departure. And as indicated in the airport charts, we are free to go to our cruise altitude 25,000, as we have not received any instruction to fly to 6,000. So we are good there. Hello there, Jose. Welcome aboard, my friend. Glad to have you here. All right, I'm going to go to the far end of the taxiway, and that'll give us more runway to depart. We're not going to need the full length of the runway. We're flying pretty light today with a rotation speed of 126 knots. But it looks like there's an aircraft incoming there on final, so we might have to wait for it. Yeah, we're definitely going to wait for the aircraft on final, and then we'll depart. Set the beta here to slow us down a little bit. Wow, look at that. That's an A3, that's a 737. Yeah. All right. All right, we can line up and wait. Let's go ahead and turn on our landing lights and the approach lights to white, anti-collision. And we are pretty much ready to go. We're going to release the lock. And we are good. Let's line up. Make sure no more incoming. Perfect. And we'll just wait for the aircraft to clear the runway. And we'll be on our way to Sandefjord. Right, I think the 737, was it a CS737 or an Airbus? I'm not sure. I think he's already cleared the runway. So I think we are cleared for takeoff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are cleared for takeoff, runway 09er. Right, here we go. $126 for rotation. V1, rotate. Positive rate of climb. And gear is going up. We'll wait for 400 feet. AGL. Alright, there we go. 400 feet. And props go to 900. Continue our climb. Speed check, flaps up. And we're going to shoot for about 220 knots for our climb. We're going to continue to hand fly the aircraft at this time. Right, there we go, about 220. IAS, about 219. Autopilot engaged. Nav mode is on. You can see LNAV. And now the aircraft is going to pitch up. Of course, we have alt select, so it's going to continue to climb, and it's going to maintain 219 knots. All right, perfect. All is good here. Let's do the after takeoff checklist. Flaps are up, props on 900. Climb power set. PTU control off. Standby hydraulic is off. Auxiliary tanks 1 and 2 are off. Auto feather is off. And after takeoff checklist is complete. Adjust the power here. There we go. That's much better. Otherwise, you know, we're going to have those engines blown up. All right, perfect. Yeah, the torque was too much. That's right. Do you think it's worth buying X-Plane 12? Well, you're asking me a question that I will more than likely say yes, it's absolutely worth it. You know, I'll tell you one thing. You know how much I like this Dash 8? I actually would say that I would purchase X-Plane 12 just to fly this aircraft. I would go that far to say that, because this is really an impeccable add-on for X-Plane 12. And I think, by the way, there is an update coming for this aircraft very soon. All right, we're going to make a turn here. 6,000, 7,000 is the transition altitude. We're going to set Barrow to standard. So let's go ahead and do that. Barrow standard. There we go. And we're going to set it standard here as well. 1013 is set. And we can switch the first officer side to nav mode. Right, and as you can see, the terrain radar is now shown on the first officer and captain. Here's a flyby. What a wonderful looking Dash 8 there. Gorgeous. lovely sounds, really. All right, everything is looking good. And we need to turn on the bleeds. Right, bleeds are on. And everything is in tip-top shapes. As we climb here to 10,000 feet, we're definitely going to need the bleeds. And the pressurization, let's look at the right, pressurization system is on auto, so the cabin is going to pressurize automatically. And we just want to make sure that everything here is looking good. All right, all is good here, perfect. And we can increase the range a little bit here so we can see our flight plan. There we go. Right, approaching 10,000 feet. Landing lights are off, taxi lights are off. And we're going to release the passengers and cabin crew as well and begin the in-flight service. Excellent. I've tried to resist X-Plane 12, but I need to fly the hot start Challenger 650 again. It's worth having to maintain 2 sims for me. Absolutely. Absolutely, without a doubt. DB better, if I didn't have X-Plane 12, I would get it for this plane, the Fearless 742, Rotate MD-11, A340, all newer developed planes. Absolutely, DB better. The high fidelity aircraft in X-Plane is second to none at this point. And for example, the Challenger 650 is by far the most complex, study level, detailed aircraft ever built for flight simulation. There isn't anything that comes close to the Challenger 650. And it would be a shame really for a flight sim enthusiast not be able to really enjoy that aircraft. By the way, that aircraft is not a cheap add-on. It's a very expensive add-on. And so if you are interested in just, casual flying, I don't recommend that you make that investment. If you are, however, looking to really learn the aircraft and enjoy the experience of a real corporate jet pilot, then definitely one of the best add-ons, if not the best add-on for flight simulation, the Hot Start Challenger 650. Incredible level of detail in that add-on. And this aircraft, by the way, the Dash 8, the Q400 is again just really brilliant aircraft. I love the Dash 8 by FlyJSim. And I sure do hope that they'll bring back the the 727 and the 737 Classic to X-Plane 12. Hello there, Air Kerberos 001. Welcome aboard. All right, looking good. Continuing the climb to 25,000. Here's a look at the outside, ladies and gentlemen. Few clouds today in the vicinity, but just look at how beautiful this Dash 8 is. By the way, this aircraft has also full icing is simulated, and I've had actually a flight, I can't remember when, and not too long ago, I was testing it, and I was flying in extreme icing conditions, and I forgot to turn on the anti-icing system, which is here. So this is the ice protection system aboard the Dash 8, and I totally forgot, and it was displaying ice detected, and you'll see ice forming on the props, and I completely forgot about it, and I eventually crashed the plane. Actually could not, the plane couldn't just take it. I think too much ice formed on the props and the wings that rendered the aircraft incapable of flying, and unfortunately that brought me down. So what do you think that the Fearless is making shared cockpit for X-Plane 12 for the 747? If they do that, that would be great. You know what would be really cool to do with the Fearless 747 is if you can have 3 people flying it together. So you'll have the captain, first officer, and the flight engineer. So if you can have all 3, that would be just the ultimate experience, I think, flying the 747. HCO Hayes, hello my friend. I'd love to see the HR-72 of this fidelity, as I prefer that over the Dash 8. Then again, there are a lot of aircraft we don't have. Yeah, that is the ATR actually is a brilliant aircraft, and I think Milviz, or at the time, or now Black Simulations, they were actually trying to build an ATR for X-Plane, and that project just didn't go very well. They tried to raise, I think, money from the community to start the project, because it was an expensive undertaking for them, and the community did not like that. The thing is, they went so hard at the time on, saying, shame on you guys, the Zebos for free, and of course, the project was stopped. It never saw light. I believe it was the ATR. But then, people happily paid for the TFDI MD-11 and for the Embraer for MSFS. Absolutely, nothing was said. Yeah, well, let's do it. I just sometimes wonder, how do people actually change their minds, and why hasn't, why, and by the way, Milviz at the time had been in development for years. They're a very old software development company, and they've developed various add-ons. TFDI only has the 717 and PAX, so I was really surprised to see. I was pleasantly surprised, by the way. I wasn't angry about that. I'm happy that the community has taken this slightly and they've supported the developer. So please don't get me wrong. But I was kind of wondering in the back of my head, it's like, you guys, or the community, crucified Milviz over what they've done there to raise the money for the project. But then you happily paid the 80 for TFDI, and I don't know how much. I by the way, I've paid the fees or the money for both developers to get their projects going, and I did the same with Milviz at the time. But it's just really strange sometimes. Well, I guess the community is becoming more forgiving, I hope. But yeah. All right, the C1650 price is not so far than the toolless A320neo, or that is correct. I agree with you there, and the best value add-on available when considering what you get for your 120 USD. Absolutely, Exalt TSJ. I could not agree more with you. It is just really an incredible add-on. Really, I fly it, by the way, frequently. I try as much as possible to get a vote from you guys, so depending on how much I've streamed each aircraft. I know the Dash 8 is very popular. A lot of people like it, and I like it. I personally love it. It's one of my absolute favorites, if not the favorite one for X-Plane 12. So yeah, I probably have done more coverage of the Dash 8 on the channel than on the Challenger, but if you guys want, what we can do is definitely fly the Challenger on the next stream. If you guys want that, just say Q8 Challenger is a go, and we'll fly the Challenger either in the next stream or the stream after. I do want to also strike a good balance with Microsoft Flight Simulator, so I do want to show you some content there as well. But I'm just really, at this time, at this point in time, I'm just absolutely loving X-Plane. The fidelity of the aircraft in X-Plane is much better. And if I look at just about, all the airlines, and I know most of you guys love the airlines, and when it comes to GA, when we look at something like the airfoil lamp Cessna 172, I mean, it's just great, and all the add-ons in X-Plane are just great. So we are definitely Microsoft Flight Simulator catching up there with the Phoenix, the PMDG. You know, you've got also the Leonardo software MD-80, which is again a very good add-on. Has performance improved in on X-Plane 12? I think so. I think it has the recent. I'm on the beta. I'm on the latest beta, and I've noticed that yeah, performance is slightly better, but they need to still to fix a few things. Tutorix, hello my friend, welcome aboard. Best regards from Upper Bavaria. What is the name of the add-on at the top of the screen that shows the current data of the flight? That would be Volanta. So Volanta, the newer version of Volanta, Volanta by the way is an electronic flight bag, and the recent version of Volanta has streamer tools, and that's what I use here on this live stream. So that's what I'm using there. All right, we are, ladies and gentlemen, at our final cruise altitude of 25,000 feet. We're going to recharge the props to 850 or minimum, and we're going to watch our throttle. We're going to keep the we'll leave the torque at 67% for now. We're just going to gain a little bit of speed, and then we'll set it maybe at 240, and we'll keep going. Now, according to my calculations, if I go to the flight plan, and let me just go next. This is Pivot. From Amoxa to Pivot is about 71.5 nautical miles. According to my calculations, our top of descent should begin at about 20 nautical miles from Pivot in order to the initial approach altitude is I believe 3,000. We'll take a look at that in a minute. Let me set this here on flight plan. All right, so we are at Vixen. We're doing okay, and this is let me make this here. All right, so that's the initial position. And by the way, I don't think that we've filled this, so we'll do a cross-fill service in progress. And now we have everything filled here. Perfect. All right. So if I go to fuel, now, again, you can see here the fuel consumption, the elapsed time, and the endurance, which is how much the fuel we have is going to about 1 hour and 7 minutes. And the range is about 2 hours. Sorry, 2 hours. We have 2 hours of fuel, and we can fly 736 nautical miles. Why is this flickering now? That I haven't had that in a long time, and it has come back today. It's probably the beta. Yeah, looks like something has regressed, so Laminar, please fix this. Yeah, something might have regressed during the last beta, because I haven't had those blinking in the longest time now. So hopefully it will subside, because it is quite annoying. Yeah. Here is a flyby. Lovely. All right. Hopefully it will go away. It's not too bad right now, but it can get very disturbing. So hopefully it will just go away. All right. I think we'll ease off on the throttles now. And we'll go to about 64, 62. All right, there we go, 62. And that should keep our speed at about 237 knots. Looks like the flickering is gone now. And hopefully it won't return. Divert to Bergen. I'm on ground and a friend is on tower. Myson did that flicker today too. It looks like something has definitely regressed from the previous build. So hopefully the guys at Laminar would fix this. Right, 64. All right, we're looking good. Excellent. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to come here now. This was our departure. This is us right there. Okay, and we're going to go now to the flight, and this is the arrival, which is Sandy Fjord. We are arriving into the BAM 7 Tango star through the BAMX transition. So, and we're going to be doing an ILS runway 36. First, let's take a look at our arrival. The BAMX, where is the BAMX? BAMX, this is the Bombo Vatix. That's not it. That's not it. Where is it? Ah, we're looking at the wrong place. This is the BAMX 7 Tango. That's the one. All right, so let's bring that up. And that's our arrival right there. So it says proceed on start and start approach to runway 36. Okay, so kind of a straightforward approach today into Sandy Fjord, and we're going to look at the approach plate, the ILS runway 36. So let's bring that up, and as you can see here, the initial approach altitude is 3,000 feet to intercept the localizer, and the ILS frequency is 110.905 with a final approach course of 355 degrees. Missed approach, again, just to kind of be informed, climb straight ahead to ASLAC to 3,000, then turn left direct to VOR, climbing 5,000, and our holding climb to 5,000, expect vector. Okay, and you will find this information. So this is, if you look here, this is ASLAC. So in case of a missed approach, we're going to go to ASLAC. We're going to go here and turn back, and we're going to go into a holding pattern until we are vectored in back to the airport to again be intercept the localizer 436 at Sandy Fjord. Very straightforward approach plate. I really like Navigraph, guys, and if you are again, if you are into flight simming and you really want to learn you know, what pilots actually do, this is an indispensable tool. And by the way, I am thinking of giving annual subscriptions as a giveaway during FS Expo. So I'll see if I can get that arranged for you guys during the expo. So brilliant tool. I love what they've done. The only feedback I would have for Navigraph is I would love to see the top of climb and top of descent calculations shown here, even if that means they just grab it from SimBrief. That's okay. But it would be very useful to see it on Navigraph. All right, so you guys have been briefed on our arrival, and all is, you're going to be in Houston? Yes, sir. I am a platinum sponsor of FS Expo 2023, and with a booth also dedicated for the Q8 Pilot channel, so I will definitely be there. Yeah. All right, we are at 25,235 knots, and everything is in tip-top shape. Weather is calm, skies are clear, a few scattered clouds, but everything is looking pretty cool. Here's a look at the beautiful Dash 8 Q400 flying over Norway. And by the way, this is the default mesh in X-Plane 12, and I think it looks pretty good. Yeah. And when you're flying at this altitude, it doesn't really matter if it's photoreal or not, as long as it's representative. I think it's fine. Beautiful looking aircraft. Here's a flyby. And here is a cinematic flyby for you guys as well. Oops. What's going on with the frames there? When I get those jitters, I get really worried that we might actually lose the sim. I'm gonna give it just a tad on the throttle here and put it at 66% for the torque, just to maintain the speed. I think 65 maybe is better. Right, 65. There we go. We just want to make sure we maintain the speed. All right. Now, if you click again here, you see this is our approach speed. So 132 is going to be the approach speed. So we are good there. Everything is in tip-top shape. And we are, if we look here, all right, so the total distance is 315 nautical miles. And we took off at 1432. We should arrive there in about 30 minutes. 1560. Now we've got laps plus 34. Yeah, I believe another 34 minutes for arrival. No, sorry. So about 1 hour. Well, it's about exactly 1 hour from now. No. It's 30 minutes is correct. All right. So this is Pivot, and if we look here, all right. So you see here, this is Pivot, and we're heading over to Pivot. We are at 43. So in another 20 nautical miles, we will begin the descent towards Sandy Fjord. So yeah, that's correct. So 30 minutes is correct. Okay. Yeah, it looks it's gonna be a lot of fun this year in Expo. So if you guys, by all means, if you can make it, I'll tell you right now, it's definitely gonna be worth it. All right. We're going to start setting up the aircraft for our arrival. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look again here at the approach plate for runway 36, our arrival runway today. And we're going to take a note of the ILS frequency, which is 110.905. And we're going to put that here. 110.905 is actually already set on both sides. And so the approach course is 355 degrees. So we are good there. And if you look here, if I zoom out a little bit, let's see, that's us right there, and that's Pivot. So about 20 nautical miles from Pivot, we will begin the descent. We will begin at about 1,000 feet per minute, and we'll continue the descent to 3,000. I think we should be fine, and we should be able to reach the approach altitude right around Lulup here, which is the transition. No, probably Olrog. Probably at Olrog we'll reach the 3,000 feet according to my calculation. Yeah, I think that's about right. So let's go ahead and reset the MCP altitude. So we're going to set this to 3,000 feet. All right. There we go. 3,000 is now set. And we're going to also say alt select. Brilliant. All right, and that's Pivot. About 8 nautical miles, and we'll begin our descent towards Sandy Fjord. What a beautiful looking livery And by the way, this is the real world registration number also of the aircraft for wide row. All right. Pivot in 4 nautical miles. We'll begin our descent. Everything is looking in tip-top shape. All right. So what do you guys think of the Dash 8? It's just really brilliant aircraft. I wonder why they haven't modeled the button though to disconnect the autopilot. All right, 20 nautical miles to pivot. So we are going to begin our descent. We're going to use vertical speed, and we're going to begin at about, we'll say, 800 feet per minute. And we're going to ease off on the throttle here. All right, excellent. And props go back to 900. All right, let me adjust the throttles here a little bit. We don't want to go over it. We don't want to overspeed. And with the Dash 8, it's very easy to overspeed the aircraft during descent. So we're going to be careful. Right, let's go to 1,000 feet per minute. Brilliant. And adjust the throttle accordingly to maintain about 240 knots or so. All right. We can go back to our friendly... actually, no, we don't want that. We're going to come here. We're going to go to information at the destination, Sandefjord, and we're going to take a note of the weather. The weather is 344 knot wind, cloud and visibility okay. Current temperature is 3 Celsius, -10 for the dew point. No significant change in the next couple of hours, and QNH is 1018. Perfect. Right, transition altitude is 7,000 feet in Norway. All right, all's looking good. Right, we're going to set the heading bug to, let's see, all right. So I'm going to set the heading bug to 355 degrees. Part 5 is set, and we continue our descent. We're going to maintain 240 knots for now until we are further down. And let's see if my calculations were correct today for descent. By the way, one thing you will need to do on the transponder, currently we're in standby mode, so if you click and hold, it says on alt. So now actually get the traffic. If there is any traffic, you'll get it. Right, here we go. There's something in this beta just kind of pauses a little bit. Right, we're looking good. Continue the descent. Very comfortable descent for our passengers. 1,000 feet per minute is okay. What am I doing? All right, here we go. And here is all the passenger cabin. which is, look at that, guys. Look at this view of the beautiful Dash 8 engines. Those beautiful props. Yeah. Just really a lovely, lovely cockpit. All right, perfect. Continue the descent. 20,000. Let's watch our speed here a little bit. Right, perfect. And at 10,000 feet, we will then turn on the hydraulic control again, the auxiliary. Fuel, by the way, fuel transfer is fully modeled on this aircraft, so you can use it if needed. Yeah, a jet fighter. The Dash 8 Q400 is just absolutely marvelous. It's an excellent aircraft. Lovely. The most challenging part of the Dash 8 Q400 is the landing. Landing the Dash 8 can be very tricky, and by the way, the Dash 8 does not require a flare like you normally do in an Airbus or you know, the Boeings. So the flare is a very subtle flare. You know, you don't have to do an exaggerated flare like you do in an Airbus or and the reason being is that, again, it's a nose heavy aircraft, so it's heavier on the front. So yeah, it's quite tricky to land the Dash 8, and hopefully today we butter the landing and give you guys a good show. I think all the landings I've done in the Dash 8 have been somewhat firm, and that's because it's really not straightforward. Have you found the Easter egg on this yet? No, I haven't. And I haven't looked, by the way. I think it's in one of the circuit breakers, but I'm not sure which one. Yeah. By the way, all the circuit breakers are modeled on this aircraft. Again, I know that people probably don't use the circuit breakers, but again, to call it a study level aircraft, you cannot not have the circuit breakers modeled and call the aircraft study level. So goes without saying that you should have it here. You can see all of the circuit breakers are functional, and so you can actually click them and fail that specific part, which is again very, very cool. Looking good. Steady descent towards 3,000. Look in the second form from last overhead baggage bin on the right. Yeah, that could be it. Yeah, I remember someone saying that. On the right, yeah. All right, I'm gonna do it for you. Let's do this. Where is the? All right, let's go here. All right, so we're gonna go all the way to the end. Very nice passenger cabin. I like it. And that's the second one from the right. And there's nothing there. Nothing here either. Huh. They're all empty. The other side. You mean the front? All right. Well, we can try that. All right. So this one here has nothing, and this one has nothing. So both sides, front, back, nothing's there. It's all right. April Fool Day. I guess so. Hey, Boeing Corp Mike from Logan, New Jersey. Welcome. All right. If we look here, we are at 15,000. This is BAMX. This is the transition, and there is a restriction here of 11,000 feet. We should be fine. And this is BAMX. Yeah, our descent rate is good. Our speed is slightly gone up, so I'm going to reduce throttle here to bring our speed down. We definitely don't want to be at above 250 knots below 10,000 feet. So we're going to make sure the speed goes down a little bit as we continue the descent towards Sandy Fjord. Otherwise, everything is looking good. We didn't have to use the anti-icing today, but let me just very quickly. Where are we? We are at 14,000. All right. So the basic operation of the anti-icing protection, just if you are in, by the way, if you encounter icing condition, you will get a message here that says ice detected, and normally it's in yellow, and it's shown down here, and it is simulated in this aircraft. So the basic operation is to set the props to the on position, and then turn on the engine intakes, and then put this on slow, and you're pretty much good. And that is the very basic setup of the ice protection panel aboard the Dash 8. Now you can see that it will automatically cycle through the wing. You can see the open engine intake. The heaters are now open, and there is actually, this is animated underneath the wing. I've shown this in a previous stream, but you can see now the both of those are open, and you can see the tail, the wing, everything is automated. This is the the most basic way to operate the anti-icing system. We don't need it, of course, in this flight, but just for your information, that's how you engage it. And we are now at 12,000 feet. We're looking good. How do you turn the terrain radar on the Q400? So the terrain radar is right here. That's the WX terrain. All right, so now it's off. And if I click it again, then now we have the terrain radar here, as you can see here. All right, if you want the weather system, you go to down here, and you set the weather. Let me see here. There you go. Standby and WX. That's the weather system here. And now we have the weather. I don't think the weather is simulated though on this Dash 8. I don't think it works. But the buttons are there. They are INOP, as you can see here. It says INOP. So I think this is probably a future development for the Dash 8. Everybody a comedian, yeah, I guess so. People are in a good mood this evening, Rand, which is cool. Yeah. All right, BAMX, as you can see, 11,000. We are at 11,500. We might be a little bit below that, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and put the throttles down. We want to slow down to about 220 knots now, and looks like my calculation is not bad for TOD and the rate of descent as well. Slightly off there on the restriction. But yeah, now we're going to start slowing down a little bit. All right, folks, we are now approaching 10,000 feet. So what I'm going to do is turn on the landing lights. We're going to turn the passenger fasten seatbelt and non-smoking signs on again. And we are going to turn on the standby hydraulic, K2 control, and the tank auxiliary pumps as well. And now we can just wait until we are on the approach, and we'll start configuring the aircraft. We need to turn off our bleeds as well, so we're going to do that in a little while. We are now below 10,000 feet, and we are looking good. Let's remind ourselves of the altimeter at Sandy Fjord, and if we look here, the altimeter is 1018. All right, the transition altitude is 7,000 feet, but let's go ahead and set it now. 1018. Let's see here, 1018 is set, and we're going to set 1018 here as well. 1014, 5, 18. Come on, 18. All right. We're going to click here one more time just to verify our speeds. 132 is the approach speed. Excellent. And we are now almost at our destination. Now, the thing is with the Dash 8, if you ever, if you feel that you're too high, for the approach and that you're not going to make it, it's always a good idea to go into a holding pattern and descent while you're in the holding pattern, and then attempt the approach again. And this is, by the way, something that's quite likely to happen if you're not very experienced flying the Dash 8. And this is because it, normally the airline pilots actually depend on their own calculation for top of descent. The VNAV aboard this aircraft is very seldom used, according to real-world pilot account. Normally pilots would do the calculations themselves. Now, of course, real-world pilots would probably get it right, but for us flight simmers, there might be a chance that if you're not very experienced in either the aircraft or doing the calculation, that you might end up being too high or too low, by the way, for that matter. So just enter into a holding pattern and keep descending until you are until you are clear, and then you can begin the approach, the final approach into your destination. We are now at 8,000 feet, ladies and gentlemen, for 3,000, about 5,000 feet to clear, and I think we're doing just fine. I'm going to slightly reduce the speed now as well, so I'm going to ease off on the throttle, and we're going to go to about 210 knots in preparation for our approach. We definitely don't want to be too fast. The Dash 8 is a very powerful aircraft. Hello there, Mike Porter. How's it going, my friend? Welcome aboard. Glad to have you here with us. You're just in time for the landing, so hopefully it will be a nice one today, and I'll give you guys a good spectacle. So, yeah. All right. 231, and we keep descending and reducing our speed. You can see the approach looks exactly like the approach we have in our charts. And you can see also the restriction 3,000, which is the initial approach altitude at Sandy Fjord. We're looking good, folks. Everything is looking in our favor. Right, let's take a look here at the flight plan. Right, Onvid, Olrog. Yeah, and I think I said that Olrog will be at 3,000, but it might take us a little more. So my calculations were just slightly off. But because it's very, it's different. When I did the calculation, obviously, I kind of estimated the speed at which I'm going to be, and I didn't really follow the speeds very much. So yeah, but 220 is okay, and we continue the descent. We're looking good, folks, and hopefully we'll have a butter landing today. What video card are you using? Steve, you can type, there you go. Thank you, Stan. Appreciate it, my friend. All right. Here we go. We are, by the way, into the transition. If we look here, we are at the beginning of the star right here. So we just crossed Tango Oscar 422, the VAMX transition into our star. So we officially entered the star now into Sandy Fjord. And we can zoom in here a little bit so you guys can see the chart. So this is Lollup. From Lollup, we're going to go to Innova right here, and that would be our fix. And then we're going to turn towards the ILS there to intercept the ILS at 355 degrees and an ILS frequency of 110.905. Looking good. Waypoint alert. Let's take a look here. All right, we can now turn off the bleeds. So bleeds coming off. We'll leave the recirc fan on. Those sounds are amazing. Beautiful F-mode sounds. Right, that's the altitude alert. So 1,000. We have alt select here, so we are good. Another 800 feet. And yeah, I think my calculation was spot on. That's exactly where I said we will reach the top of descent. So that's exactly when we've, about 500 feet now, which we will clear. And then we will be at 3,000 feet for the approach. Brilliant. Gonna click here one more time just to make sure the speed doesn't change. 132 is the approach speed. Right, 3,000. You can see the speed is now decreasing automatically as we have the throttle set at 21%. So I'm going to start giving it a little more throttle now. We want to hold the speed. We don't want to lose too much speed. And we are now at 3,000 feet. Okay, we are at our approach altitude. And we're looking good. Here's a look at the X-Plane 12 scenery, which, isn't, I mean, it needs orthos, for sure. With orthos, it would look absolutely great, but this isn't bad. I mean, it's all right. Never mind. Thought I set up a view for you guys, but it's not there. All right. We're going up to about 2,000, and I'm just going to give it a little more throttle. I don't want to descend too fast. I don't want to lose speed too fast at this point. And maybe when we begin the turn towards the airport, that's when we will reduce the speed further. But for now, 190, between 200 and 190 knots would be sufficient. Hey there, Mike. Scenery does not look good. Yeah, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good, for sure. But it's okay. It's decent. It's plausible. That's what I would say. All right, we're going to decrease the range here so we can see our approach clearly. And if we look here also in the, you can see here we're coming exactly to Lollup. From Lollup, we're going to make the right turn. I love Navigraph. Just really, it's an excellent tool. All right. 200 knots, 3,000. We're going to maintain 3,000. And by the way, if you look at our heading, 355 is the actually approach heading. So we've set that. Of course, we'll set the course at 355 degrees as well once we switch to heading mode. Now, as soon as we are at lull-up, we'll begin descending, reducing our speed. So we'll begin the deceleration. We will maintain 3,000. We were then going, we'll switch to heading mode, and then we'll activate the approach. That's what we're going to do as soon as we begin the turn. Steve the chatter is XATC chatter. Let me show you here real quick. That's XATC chatter, and this is I think they have a released version. I think I haven't updated this, but this is what the chatter. It's a brilliant little tool. By the way, this is non-interactive ATC, so it just plays from different frequencies. But I think it does add a lot of immersion to the experience. So I do recommend it. It's a very good plugin to have. I personally like it a lot. All right, we are coming up to our turn. Our speed continues to slightly decrease. So we're just going to keep it there, but we're going to definitely need to decrease, go to about 180, and then we'll start configuring our flaps. Everything is set. We're going to go, of course, throttle. The props are going to go to maximum 1020. We are currently at 900. That's us right there. Look at just the majestic look of the Dash 8. The sounds, the 3D modeling, the system simulation, everything is done so well on this aircraft. By the way, the anti-icing doors are, they are, all right, let me look here, can't find them. They're somewhere here, all right, they're right there. So when you turn on the anti-icing system, you'll see that those doors actually open. All right, we are beginning the turn now towards Sandy Fjord. So what we're going to do, folks, is we are going to, you can see the speed is good for the current sector. So nothing, we don't need to do anything at this point. We are going to put the props on maximum 1020. Right, the bleeds. All right, so let's just very quickly run through things here on the overhead panel. The bleeds are off. The PTU control is on. Standby hydraulic pressure is on. The auxiliary pumps for tanks 1 and 2 are already on. And the props are on max 1020, and we are now going to start putting the throttle back here to reduce our speed. All right, so the GPU's landing flap is set to 35, which is the maximum. We're going to do flaps full today, so flaps 35 today for our landing. And we are now reducing our speed. The final approach speed is 132. Let's give it a little power here. I'm going to decrease the range again so we can see exactly what we're doing. This is the center fix for runway 36. And we're coming up to the turn now. Right, we can extend flaps. So we're going to set flaps 5. And here is the turn towards Sandy Fjord. Gonna watch our speed as we turn. We don't want to lose too much speed. We'll keep it there at about 160. The speed drops very, very quickly with those really turboprops. So we're just going to try to keep it there at 160 or so. And we are now approaching the center fix for runway 36. All right. So here's what we're going to do, folks. We are going to switch to heading mode. So heading mode is already set to 355. Heading select is selected. And the course, and we're going to say the nav source is going to be 355 degrees. So let's come here. First, let's do the nav source. Right, there we go. And the course is 355 degrees. So let's set the approach course. 355 is set. We're going to slightly change our heading. There we go. And now we're going to click on approach. Localizer captured. We are on the glide slope. And let's go ahead and lower the landing gear. Landing gear is coming down. And we're going to go to flaps 15. Watch our speed. Right. Perfect. Now you can see that we are on the glide slope and the localizer glide slope is active. And the airport is right ahead. I have the runway in sight. If you're unable to see it, the runway is right there. Let me just zoom in a little bit. You can see the runway here. Looking good. Let's reduce our speed. All right, the go-around altitude is set at 3,000.
2,500.
We continue to reduce our speed as we descend towards the airport. Right, landing lights are on, fasten seat belt on, bleeds are off, props 10, 20, and the hydraulics are on, and we are clear to land runway 36. Right, speed check, and flaps 25. Right, one notch for full flaps. Let me give it power. The power, adjusting the power is the most tricky thing when landing the Dash 8. We are on the glide slope and a localizer. You can already see 2 whites, 2 reds. Speed check, flaps 35. Right, clear to land, runway 36. We need to watch our speed, so you need to make very slight changes to the throttle to keep the speed. I'm going to keep it there. I'm not going to go to 132. And I've noticed, by the way, there are no call-outs. Hopefully we get them. I did an update to see if it was... Alright, so we are below 1,000 feet. We did not get the call-out, so I'm just going to go ahead and turn off the autopilot and my aircraft. At least we got it at 500.
Terrain. 100. 40, 30, 20, 10. 10.
Ah, come on.
10.
All right, that wasn't very good, but welcome to Sandy Fjord, ladies and gentlemen. And reversers. Bit of a float. We'll take a look. But yeah, not the best of, again, very, very tricky, very challenging aircraft to land, the Dash 8. But yeah. Yeah, having the, definitely the power settings at the right, you know, does make wonders. You're very right there. All right, let's retract our flaps. Right, we're going to bring the lock back so that we don't accidentally push the throttle forward, and everything here is good. Excellent. We're just going to go to the far end and make a turn, come back. Very nice airport again for being default here, yeah. Flying in Norway is just really a joy. A very beautiful country. We're just going to go there to the general aviation parking and just park there and take a look at our landing. But I do hope that this was an insightful and useful flight where you guys learned about the Dash 8. Right, here we go. Landing lights can go off. Taxi lights are on. And red anti-collision light. Position light is on. Everything else here is good. Excellent. By the way, one last tip for the Dash 8. In order to set the right field of view, make sure that this bowl is completely covered. So you see this one here, there's one there. You want to make sure that the black bowl here covers the white bowl completely, that you don't see it. And if you don't see it, it means that you have the right field of view. That would be the correct captain view there on the Dash 8. All right, I think we can bring the aircraft safely to a stop here. So we're going to set the parking brake. Parking brake is set, and we can now take a look at the landing. This goes to minimum, and we then start turning off the aircraft systems. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. Hopefully it won't crash. So toggle replay mode, and we're just going to very slowly bring it back. Right, here we go. So what I wanted to avoid in this specific flight is I didn't want to do a nose dive. I wanted to bring it as smooth as possible, and that has led to the float there as we came into line. But just, guys, look at how beautiful the Dash 8 is. Incredible looking aircraft. Here's a tower view. I mean, just look at this. Gorgeous, gorgeous looking aircraft. We almost had it there, and that's the float. Bit of a firm landing, I must say. All right, let's do it one more time. And here we go from another angle. Okay, there's the float there. I actually added power there because I didn't want to touch down too hard, and that's the reason we floated there a little bit. Here, let's take a look at it one more time. Here, this time we'll do it from, actually, let me do this, and let's come here. How about this view? Yeah. There's the initial float. And then the landing. You gotta love the sounds of the reversers there. Alright, let's go to toggle replay mode. Alright, so we are back in the, we can go to the overhead panel. And recirc fan is off, the bleed's already off. Bleed goes to minimum. And let's see here. We can go ahead and turn on the APU starter here, and let's see here. Just wait for this a little bit, and then we can turn off the, all right, perfect, generator. Bleed air is on, and now we can kill the engines. Start and feather. We'll leave it there for a while. All right, and beacon off. And we can disarm the emergency lights. Pitot and pitot statics are off. Alright, we can now safely cut off the fuel from the engines. We have the APU running. And we'll turn off the non-smoking and fasten seatbelt signs. And we can go now to the back. Right, and here we go. Let's see here if I can open the door. I forgot how to open the door. Well, we can always come here and open the main cabin door.
Pushback start approved, QNH1008 and ground 11705, clear dag.
Why is it not allowing us to... let's see.
Planner, goedemorgen. Dick Adam 90955 is ready.
Fuel pushback. Why is it not allowing us to unload the passengers? Does it want us to turn off the APU? Alright, let's turn off the APU. And we're going to turn off the... We can leave the generators. We can turn all these off. And all right, so now we can do the unloading. Start unloading. All right, perfect. And here we go. We can see that the aircraft door is now open, and we can unload the passengers. And by the way, this is also animated, so you'll start seeing, well, it's not animated, you don't see the passengers, but you'll see them kind of exiting the aircraft here, powering up the APU, power up APU, passengers deplaning, and bags unloaded. So now things are happening here. You can see the passengers are leaving the aircraft, and you can always do a fast unload. And now everything, you know, all the passengers are outside of the aircraft, and the aircraft is back into its cold and dark state. Well, folks, this really brings us to the conclusion of our live stream today. I hope that you have found this live stream insightful, useful, and entertaining. I definitely enjoyed it. I hope that you've enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed streaming it for you. Until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all very soon. Stay safe, and bye-bye for now.